Now let's see today's agenda. What we will learn, what is big data and ethical concerns and biases in big data analytics, importance of big data ethics and big data bias types, ethical considerations in big data, bias in AI decision making, profiling and discrimination, regulating big data ethics, and conclusion and recommendations. Now let's see one by one. So, what is big data? So big data, as the name suggests, it's all about using massive amounts of data and information to make decisions, from the content you see on the internet to the ads you encounter. And why it's important, we need to make sure using this data is fair and doesn't hurt anyone. This is our topic, how we need to consider ethical rules and regulations to follow the big data. And now let's see example. Imagine if a computer program said you couldn't get a job because of your name. That's not fair, right? If you don't get a job because of your name, then it's not fair. It's totally unfair. This is the example, and what we will learn in this presentation, we will talk about why being fair with big data is important, what can go wrong, and how to fix it. These are the things we are going to discuss in this today's session. And big data is a term for large and complex sets of information. It's like having a huge puzzle with countless pieces. Big data helps us find patterns, make better decisions, and improve our world. Imagine it as a giant information treasure trove. So this is simple to learn what is big data. So this term is having complex set of information. Example is huge puzzle with countless pieces, and by using this big data we will get some patterns and we will make some better decisions and we will improve the world. This is how big data will work in our real world. Now let's see what is ethical concerns and biases in big data analysis. So data ethics are very important when it comes to the big data. Why it's very important for means, big data is a large amount of information collected from various sources including the internet and sensors. Its significance lies in its potential to reveal patterns, trends and insights that can inform decisions and innovations. Big data can do better decisions and it can create innovations. So it's very important. Ethical concerns in big data analytics refers to the moral and fair use of this data. Biases are unintended preferences that can show up in data, leading to unfair or discriminatory outcomes when using this data for decision making, which can be significant problem. So these are ethical concerns we need to follow in big data analytics. So what is the importance of data ethics? So it's a simple. Why it matters means, we need to ensure that using this data is fair and doesn't harm anyone. This is a very important thing. And promoting access, preventing misinformation, fairness, transparency, all are very important. First, the data ethics is like having good manners with data. It's important because it ensures we treat people and their information fairly and with respect. Data ethics means it's like having good manners with data. Having good manners with data is called data ethics. And consequences if you don't follow data ethics. Consequences is simple. We might hurt people's privacy, and we might hurt people's decisions, and even we may discriminate them. Like, these are consequences or bad manners of be, not following the data ethics. Now let's see big data bias types. There are two types. Selection bias. This happens when we only look at part of the data, like only data from certain people and ignore the rest. So selecting some amount of data and not selecting the remaining amount of data is selection bias. Confirmation bias. It's like believing only what you want to believe and ignoring anything that doesn't fit. We sometimes see what we expect to see. So we are we expect something, and for that we select some data and we will do the things what are needed, but it's not right. So that is confirmation bias. So how it will affect data analysis means, selection bias, if we miss some data we might make wrong decisions, or when we don't consider the complete amount of data, then we make wrong decisions and wrong conclusions also. And it's like simple judging a cake by just one bite and not trying the whole thing. Without trying the whole thing, we will judge by hitting one bite. So that's the one effect. And one more thing, confirmation bias, it can make us see things in a way that is not true, like seeing clouds in the shape of animals when they are not just clouds. The this can lead to wrong decisions based on what we hope to do. So we will expect clouds as the animals and we will give data related to that, and we will give that data. So obviously it's not a good manners, it's a very bad manners, and this is a wrong decision. So this is the effect of confirmation bias. Now let's see ethical considerations in big data. How we will address these issues? So ethical considerations include obtaining consent and protecting privacy, similar to asking permissions before using someone's belongings or respecting their personal diary. So how we will address these problems? And these are the two things we need to follow. And also this privacy, ownership, reputation, and identity are four aspects of big data ethics. And consent and privacy means we should respect the people's privacy, and responsibility means people who collect data from and those who use it must be fair and honest. Imagine sharing your secrets, you would want others to be trustworthy, right? The same goes for data. We need to trust the people who will collect our data. So that's how the things should be go. Then the wrong conclusions will happen. Now, bias in AI decision making, how it bias will work in AI decision making. So, first thing, so bias impact is bias in AI means it might make unfair decisions. Imagine a robot that only helps people who wear blue shirts, ignoring everyone else. Uh, this is how the AI bias happens in AI. So, example here, the people who wears blue shirts, for them only the robot will help. Remaining people it will ignore. So, this is one example, simple example how a bias will work in AI decision making. And one more is discriminatory outcomes. So the outcomes of this AI bias can lead to unfair things like job rejections, higher prices for certain groups just because of their background. This is not fair and can hurt people. So the description may happen, so this discrimination should avoid. So discriminations in the sense rejecting jobs and giving higher prices for certain groups just because of their background, which means with the previous data we should not just like that. So this is all will happen when in AI decision making. Now let's see profiling and discrimination. What is profiling and what is discrimination? Big data profiling means simple. uh, It can create detailed profiles about individuals. When these profiles are used unfairly, it can lead to negative consequences, much like not being invited to a party or based on your list. So this is how profiling will work. By having your profile, and we will judge whether you should come to our party or should not come. For that we use AI. So this is profiling. It's not profiling, it's profiling. So discrimination, sometimes these profiles are used unfairly, leading to things like not getting a job or being treated differently just because of what's in your profile. It's like not being invited to a party because of what's on your list. This can hurt the people. This is how discrimination will work. This is how the AI will make discrimination. It's like a dark side of big data. So data discrimination is one of the biggest dark side in big data. Now see regulating big data ethics, which means what we can do for big data ethics. So to follow good manners with data. Strategies to reduce bias, we can use special computer programs like fairness aware algorithms to make sure the data is fair. It's like using filters to remove the bad parts of a photo, like using fairness aware algorithms in already we are using different filters to remove bad parts of photo in gallery with the people will do definitely. This is one rule. And one more thing, diverse data collection, having a vast collection like how we have clothes collection, shoes collection, dress collection, our jewelry collection, like that we need to have diverse data collection to make correct decisions, to make correct conclusions. And regulations, governments might make rules to ensure people's data is used fairly and safely, like traffic rules on the road. So the government should give some regulations how they have given for traffic. And roles, governments and organizations must work together to make sure everyone follows these rules. It's like traffic police and drivers working together to keep the road safe. This helps protect people's privacy and rights. Simple, governments and organizations should work together. How in road drivers as well as polices will work together to keep our road safe. Like that we need to work together with organizations and governments to keep our data safe, to keep good manners with data. Now conclusion and recommendations. We have learned that big data ethics is crucial to be fair and avoid harm. Bias in AI decisions and profiling can lead to discriminations. So, how bias will uh, make decisions in profiling, and how it will make discriminations, all we have learned in our previous slides. Now, let's see recommendations. To promote ethical data, to promote good manners with data, we need to obtain consent, protect privacy, and use diverse data. Use fairness over algorithms and follow regulations. Together, governments and organizations can ensure fair and responsible data use, just like traffic rules and cooperation on the road keep us safe. Already, I have told you in the previous slide how government can make decisions, how they can give rules and regulations to the people, and how people should react to it. Then, how the things will go. how good manners with data will happen. So these are some recommendations to promote ethical big data. So that's all, folks. This is today's session, and this is the end.